You may not realize it, but right now is an absolutely pivotal time to either decide to own Bitcoin or to be left in the dust with Bitcoin. You know about it, you've heard about it. If you aren't invested yet, now you really need to think, should I or should I not? We're gonna get into a lot of different stuff. We're gonna get into a lot of the reasons why later in this video. But one thing that I do wanna mention is that according to the stock to float model, which has been correct for the last 3 cycles, we are at an inflection point where basically we are going to see very parabolic rises over the next 3 to 4 months, maybe topping out sometime in August. We really can't obviously know exactly what the market is going to do, but at some point you're going to look at Bitcoin and you're going to say, that's too expensive for my blood. I'm not going to get in. I just missed the mark. Okay, so more about all that in a minute, but really quickly covering the news of what's happened lately. Things are getting fiery. There is news all over the place. There's people getting into crypto and tweeting about it, talking about it that really doesn't quite make sense because there's so much hype, so much momentum behind it. And if you are new to the internet, then maybe you've missed that meme power, and just the power of PR and attention on the internet can take something from nothing to crazy levels like we saw GameStop do, and it's still doing. But check this out. Teletubbies, yeah, the kids show from back in the 90s, tweeted about a big thing is coming, hashtag Bitcoin. Teletubbies. You can't make this up. Also today and for the next couple days, Chipotle actually tweeted about something big that's happening with Bitcoin. And then today they released that they're doing a Bitcoin and burritos giveaway. So it's burritos or bitcoin.com if you want to enter. Basically, you go on the website, you can put in 10 different entries, and it's a 6-digit entry. Anybody can do it, and if you guess the entry correct, then they'll give you Bitcoin. I think it's $500 worth of Bitcoin or $25,000 of Bitcoin. The chances of you winning are slim, but this is important because it's just more adoption for Bitcoin, more eyes on Bitcoin, and really, it's just another huge company that's saying, yeah, we know what Bitcoin is, it's legitimate, and if they're doing a giveaway for Bitcoin, it just goes to say, for me, that they're probably dabbling in investing in Bitcoin on their own. Who knows? Probably one of the most bullish pieces of news is that PayPal just this week announced that they have now enabled Bitcoin to be used at any of their 29 million merchants, meaning that anywhere where you've been able to use PayPal to purchase something in a checkout, you can now click a button that says pay with Bitcoin. You can also pay with Litecoin, I think, and also Bitcoin Cash. But really, this is an insane thing, and this is actually what sent the price of Bitcoin again up from 54,000 up to 57, 58,000. But really what's important is that now 29 million merchants, you can now start using Bitcoin there. This is an important thing for just overall PR, making it legitimate in a lot of investors' minds, but also in general, people are going to start seeing Bitcoin as a currency that you can use, not only as an investment. Of course, those of us who are hodling Bitcoin for the long run, me, we're not going to be spending Bitcoin on supplements and clothing on the internet, but eventually, whenever Bitcoin stops being so volatile, once it has found its upper price, maybe we will start using it as a currency. PayPal is in. Goldman Sachs, one of the biggest investment banking firms in the entire world, announced that in Q2, they're going to be allowing their wealthy clients to have exposure to Bitcoin because they've had so many of their clients ask them to be able to invest in Bitcoin through them. And that means even more money is coming in. In my opinion, this means money that is in the, I would say, boomer age range is probably the type of people who are in that wealthy class, who are with Goldman Sachs. And those people probably don't want to figure out how to purchase it on Coinbase. They don't want to figure out hardware wallets. They just want to keep using the same Goldman Sachs that they used to purchase, gold, ETFs, stocks. They just want to be like, hey, here's 10 grand, here's 50 grand, put it into Bitcoin. In my opinion, that means hundreds of billions of dollars are coming, and we have, again, another chance to front run it because that's not until Q2. Finally, last 2 pieces of news. Mike Novogratz, the CEO of Galaxy Digital Investment Group, basically said that he sees Bitcoin going crazy parabolic in the next couple of months. He is somebody who does have his finger on the pulse of what's going on with the Bitcoin market because he does have clients who invest through his firm. And in a similar story, NYDIG, another institutional firm that allows big money and big companies to invest in Bitcoin, and they basically custody it for those companies because it just makes it easy for them. They also have said the same thing. They said something big is coming in the next couple months. And again, these are people and firms who have their finger on the pulse, so they know things that we don't. Perhaps they know companies that are saying we want to start buying Bitcoin, we want to start scaling into Bitcoin, but that's a long process of buying Bitcoin over the counter, not on the spot markets, and that takes a while. So when they say we see something big coming, I think that means they have institutions, companies on the order books that are being fulfilled, and we aren't going to see that full momentum, that pressure on the price really come into effect until a few months from now. Now, I could talk your ear off for the next probably 20-30 minutes with other smaller pieces of news. Like, for example, it's not really small, but Tesla now allows you to buy Teslas with Bitcoin on their website if you want to just use a whole Bitcoin to buy a Tesla. Yeah, there's a lot of news that has happened in the last couple of weeks, and it basically is relentless. It keeps happening. More Bitcoin news keeps coming out. But what I really wanted to make this video about is, again, to say that right now we are at a point where I know we've seen Bitcoin go from $4,000-$5,000 about a year and a half ago to now $60,000. And I know that seems crazy, but in my opinion, because of where we are in the 4-year cycle, we're about a year after the halving, which the halving is when Bitcoin output each day, when it gets halved. So that means the amount of Bitcoin that gets produced each day, mined, is halved. Every single time we've had a halving, 1 year after, we see that price go parabolic. Right now, we've moved up quite a bit, but we haven't gone parabolic yet. Something I thought was really interesting is that the amount percentage gain that it took for Bitcoin to go from $4,000 in March when the COVID crash happened, all the way up to where it is now, around $60,000, is the same percentage gain that it would take Bitcoin to go from where it is now at $60,000 to $1 million. So if you're sitting there thinking Bitcoin could not go to $1 million from 60,000, that's just absolutely crazy and insane. Well, you've already been wrong once. It's already happened from 4 to 60. All it takes is the same amount of multiple to go up to $1 million. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to be at $1 million. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to get there during this cycle. Again, my price target is definitely 100K. I think that's in the bag. I would bet money that it's going to be at 100K before the end of this year, sometime in August, maybe July. But I do believe that the price target is somewhere around 150 to 200,000. That's my conservative, but I do think that it could go 3, 4, even 500,000, because not only are we factoring in the hype of people. When people get excited, they just throw their money in at things. They liquidate other assets they have so they can buy more. They take loans out. We saw this last time. We saw people taking loans out against their houses, taking loans out against their student debt, and putting it into Bitcoin. That's going to happen again because people get greedy, and that doesn't change. But this time we have a much different landscape, because before it was pretty much all hype that got us to our previous peak of 20,000. But this time we have all these institutions that are getting in, institutional adoption, companies that are putting it on their asset sheets. We have a lot of different things that are big money rather than just the little guy getting hyped. So when you add big money, not only big money, but also big money hype and big money feeling like they're missing the boat, so they feel like they have to, rush in, combined with regular retail people like you and me who are then going to FOMO in. I do think that institutional and retail FOMO combined is going to push us up to a crazy number, well above $100,000. I'll just say that. The last thing I want to say in this video before I check out is that I do think that we are going to see a huge crash after the parabolic run up, after we see that huge blow off top. So right now we're at 60. Like I'm saying, we could go to 100, we could go to 150, 200, 250. That's going to happen relatively quickly as we move closer to the end of the year. But then I do think that we're going to go from whatever that number is that it ends at least 50% down. I think it could even go 80% down. But keep in mind that if we go to 200,000, for example, and we drop 50%, that means the bottom of this next cycle is going to be $100,000. If we were to drop 80%, that means that the bottom would be $40,000. So in my opinion, there's a lot less risk at purchasing right now than I think a lot of people are thinking. I don't think we will ever see a Bitcoin at 20,000 or God forbid 5,000 like we did before. The reason that I think this is the last opportunity that most people will have is because of that fact. I think the next bottom is going to be a number that even right now people are saying, oh, Bitcoin's not going to get to that number. It's not going to get to 100K, but you just watch. In a couple years from now, after we hit the top and then we're going through a bear market, that next bottom is going to be a number that, in my opinion, we're not even at yet. So I think purchasing now is going to be a great opportunity, but trying to get into the market later after we peak, you're going to be buying into a bear market after we've topped, and that bear market generally lasts about 2 to 3 years. And unless you have hands of steel, balls of steel, and a huge conviction with patience added, you're probably going to get bored and you're probably going to hate losing money, because say you buy in at 140,000 as it's dropping, thinking that you're maybe catching the bottom, and you just keep watching it bleed down to 80,000 over the next 2 to 3 years. It's not very exciting. So for me, if I was looking to get into Bitcoin and I was just trying to figure out the timing, I would do it now. Of course, none of this is investment or financial advice. I'm literally just bringing you the news and just telling you what I would personally do. I don't want any of you guys to miss out on good investments, and I really, really, really want you to do your own research, because I know that back in the day, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I just felt like it was too hard to figure it out, so I missed out on a lot of opportunities. And even if I would have just put $1,000 or $2,000 into Bitcoin when I first found out about it, or even other investments, I would have made a lot of money. So go do your own research. Don't let your procrastination be the reason that you look back and say, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have had this, could have had that. So there we have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big old thumbs up. Helps us get out to more people. Let me know what kind of videos you guys like, because I'm enjoying making Bitcoin videos. It's my heart and soul, but I also enjoy making other investment videos, trying to help people in all different types of ways of making money and trying to save money and invest money. It's really fun for me. I think it's really awesome to see the comments that you guys have been giving me. So let me know what you guys are thinking, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the very next video.